Hey, hello, welcome everybody. I'm so glad to be here. My name is Alexis Flores. I'm part of the community building team at Encora, Mexico. I'm here to present and to introduce the following session. This is another session, part of the second edition of the Global Dev Week, an initiative by Encora. But before to start, I would like to know where are you now watching this streaming. Remember that this initiative is part of a collaboration with the 17 offices and the 31 innovation labs that Encora has around the world. So please leave us a comment because we will be so glad to read about you. And here with me is Denisse Gutierrez. Denisse Gutierrez is part of our team here in Mexico too. And also, I must confess, Denisse, and I'm so impressed about the point I was reading about your bio, because you must know that Denisse is a DevOps lead here at Encora. She's working with the UX team, so that's why the session will be about the user experience. But I was reading that you have over 15 years of experience working with the software development industry. Believe it or not, is it right, Denise?
Yeah, that's right. And I'm actually a design ops, which is quite different.
Design
Yeah.
ops. Uh,
Yeah, I work with the UX team.
my,
But
my bad, Denise. But
that's fine.
15 years of experience. I'm pretty sure that the content that you will be sharing with us will be really significant for the audience. And before to start, I would like just to make a reminder that please, audience, follow us on the social media appearing now on the screen, to don't miss any other projects that we will be launching using the social media. So nothing more to say, Denise. I give the floor to you.
Thanks, Alexis, for the introduction. So I will talk about the impact of user experience in a digital product life. So I'm going to start with the agenda, with a little bit of context to know what software companies are looking in terms of UX through the post-pandemic area. And after that, I'm going to talk about the product life cycle, and then what is UX strategy, what it means to go from tactical to a strategic UX, and then the impact with a case study and some key points to show how impacts on software development, users, and business. So, yeah, I'm going to start with the context. So, coming from a chaotic pandemic, so a lot of changes happened in the tech industry, well, in the world, but talking in the tech industry. um, we had a UX, a user experience hype. So the industry was going crazy. Everything was digital. Every company that was not digital had to transform. And that's why the UX demand increased, then accelerated tech adoption for everyone uh, that has to use products to shop and everything. And then also users start complaining about the experience they had. So in the other hand, uh, what's reality for us at the workforce? So remote work and adaptability was key, and they are here to stay. And then we have a rapid iterations and asynchronous work that I hope it gets better through time. Uh, but this is about the changes in the cost consumers. So 71% of post-pandemic consumers expect personalizations, right? So it's not the same as we were before that UX didn't matter. So 76% of consumers get frustrated by generic brand experiences. They wanted to feel something, they want to expect more of products. And 67% of consumers appreciate relevant products recommendations. So that means that it was a highlight for user experience. It was a hype for user experience, and that it was a good thing for us, but not so good, news for us is that 78% of organizations tend to use UX to discover usability issues rather than drive product strategies. So we're going there, but not yet to drive product strategy and just to fix issues. I'm going to talk in detail about that a little bit later. Um, this is not so good news. Also, 43% of organizations don't have processes in place to make design and UX decisions based on feedback. So, what this means is that organizations are losing the power and the impact of UX can give to their products and users. Um, so basically, in summary, we hear a lot about this. So yeah, if you could just go ahead and do good UX, that would be great. Or just add some UX flow and fix or usability issues, or use best practices, right? And there's no time to talk to users, but use your best practices. So that's what we hear a lot. So still UX is perceived as a one-time consultation, a project basis approach, and usually is urgent time frame with critical issues. And as I said, there's never time to talk to users, which is weird for user experience uh, specialist. Um, And to illustrate this perception, I'm going to talk about the digital product life cycle, and then the UX challenges of adding the UX in this process. So we have the, the product life cycle. So the blue wave is the revenue of the product, and we have the stages right when it's launched. We have the introductions, then the growth, maturity, and reinvention. So that's the product growth. And on the other hand, we have the green bar. That means the product development process. So where the idea starts, the conceptualization, the ideation process, the validation, and then the development phase where the software development team works to have the product ready. So that work doesn't end at launch, at the official launch. It stays through iteration and iteration, because the product is changing every time. Um, so what's happening with UX demand now? It's that usually companies need just the UI design in the development phase, or a design system, or maybe usability fixes, right, to run UX audit, or to fix usability with best practices, as I said, um, and that's it. But the challenges in the product life cycle, UX can help everywhere. So, starting with the product design, we can make sure your idea is viable and valuable for users. And the development phase, we design a personalized UI and the interaction that it's feasible. Not only it's pretty, but it's feasible. We work hand by hand with the development team. In the introduction, we can increase user adoption, conversion, and engagement. We also help in the growth to increase retention, scalability to grow products and team. In the maturity phase, we help to expand products, to make discovery research, and all the things to have consistency through all your products. And also for reinvention, we use user research for ideation and to know what's next for the product. So as you can see, it's I love this analogy of a doctor, right? So it's like, uh, you need to go to a specialist, to a doctor, not only when you get sick, right? But you need specialized for every stage on your life to get help, and not only when you are feeling, not, you're not feeling okay, but you need health insurance, you need mental health, you need preventive care, right? And that's going to change every phase of your life because you're changing. It's quite uh, random example, but it helps to understand how critical it's UX in all the process of the product lifecycle. So the ideal scenario to move from tactical to strategic UX is to have UX through all the phases, from ideation to uh, the launch, development, launch, growth, maturity, and reinvention. So there is a bunch of UX methods we can try and work in these stages, and it's different for each stage depending on your challenges as a product. um, Here are a few of them. I'm not going to talk about each one, but just to give you an idea that it's that UX is not about the method, but the or the deliverable, but the actual strategy and the collaboration between the teams to get there. Um, so, having said that, the UX strategy, what it means, um, it means that UX is not about execution only. It is about execution, but it's not only. So we work on solutions and features and task and support, but also we need a UX strategy. We need a vision that improve that have the vision to improve future state where the user experience is going, and why we need goals with metrics. How we'll know if we are making process that will give the teams clarity, like what it's needed, right? And the plan, it's the path where we need to get there. So this is not only about the UX designers. This it's teamwork, right? So for explaining that, I'm going to more in detail. For just the product development process, we have our uh, our own process that is a UX, that it's in purple, which we have UX research, then product strategy, where we work with product designers, the product team, project managers, project owners, stakeholders, and then we have the UI design and the validation with users. So in the UI design is all the interaction, the high fidelity mocks, the Figma prototype interactive, all the visual, right? And the user validation is where we talk with user that it makes sense to you. Okay, no, I need to change this and that, and to know the actual features that matter the most. After that, we're going in the development phase where they build, and then is the QA team with the testing, and then the launch, which is not always at the beginning, right? We are always launching through all the development process and iteration, as I said. So, having said that, the UX approach, it's a constant cross collaboration between teams, and I said that a lot because I think it's the key. It's the key to have um, user experience in place in the process. So we have UX at the center, but it's not that. it's my expertise or anything, but we have the UX product, right? The user experience of a product, and our Encora approach is that it needs to be technical, feasible, business oriented, and intuitive for users. So, what do we need for that? We need a team of development QA, which is technical, feasible, and then the stakeholders and the product team, which is related to business, and the UX team are also very important. The users, for create a user experience, we need users involved in our processes as if they were a team, right? So it's part of our team talking to users to have the products uh, ready for them, and that converts to a product that it's viable, feasible, and valuable. So the impact, how this impact, why it matters. So I'm having this case study, which is a real estate industry app. They hired us in the product design to growth. I mean, they hired they hired us in the product design. Right? They didn't have anything, and right now, at this day, they are in the growth phase with the UX team fully integrated. So the vision was to create an app to manage scheduling for home building. They wanted to build a team of product, UX development, and QA, and the goals was for the users. We have two different goals, right? The users and the business goals. So the users was save time and effort for builders, traders, and installers in their scheduling process. And the goals for the business was to grow builders, providers, and reduce 30% the operation costs when building a house. Um, so our strategic plan for UX was just for UX, right? Because I won't go in detail for the product and development team, but for UX was to discovery research before code. We defined the MVP with rapid rounds of user validation. We did the interaction design with user scenarios, which was very tricky because it was 5 different user profiles. We designed the design system for from wireframing phrase, and then we passed to the when we were in the high fidelity, we rebrand all the design system, so it was very quick, right? So we already had the components in place, and they were smart components, so it was fast. And the features increments based on user feedback, which was key also for success. So the constraints, as I said, we had 5 different user profiles. We did remote user research, which in this case, since users were so specialized in industry of construction, where it was difficult, but we did it anyway, and it was great insights. And then the learning curve for us as a team for construction industry, which we didn't know anything about that, but we learned a lot. And so the process that we follow was to, as I said, we first started with UX research, with interviews with the users, and then we work with the product team to conceptualize, to make the architecture. But it was a teamwork with the development team, the stakeholders, the design team, and the product team. So once we defined that, we did round of usability testing with just the wireframing, and then we actually updated the design system and create the fully integrated interactions between screens and between what's the user scenarios and everything. And after that, we started to build then the QA test and launch. and this repeatedly. It's an iterative process, right? So the outcome we had was that we have a desktop and mobile app launch on time, um, and then the product and the team and the product grew 40% in a year after launch, and the user adoption and engagement is still growing. We're still working on with them, and it is crazy the impact that we have. Obviously, it's not only because of UX, but because of UX having a place in that team helped a lot to the success of this product, and the customers feedback. It's very positive. So the impact of UX on business goals. When the UX is integrated in the process, it increases the percentage of success. Uh, it doesn't mean that if you have UX only to fix usability issues, it doesn't go well, but it will fix that specific problem. But it's better if you integrate in your process a UX team. So it impacts directly in customer satisfaction score, which is the highest at 80%, and brand perception at 76%, and active users, customer service, retention, conversion, and revenue, profitability, sales, cost reduction, app downloads, etc., etc. These are just examples of how UX can impact KPIs directly. And just to finalize, uh, this is the key points that I have for you. So the impact of UX in a digital product life, it impacts three um, points. The first one, and the most um, common in our industry, is software development. So UI design is feasible and scalable. It's not only about have the micro interactions and everything, but it's feasible and scalable, which is very good for a product that needs to grow. Teams getting involved with user needs and insights, not only UX researchers or not only UX teams, but everyone in the software development team. Collaboration to build UX strategy based on data, clear goals, prioritization, and approach. So having that UX strategy, it's not only about gut feelings or I need the industry will go that way, so go we can all go together, right? It's about the metrics behind and how we can increase with the KPIs of the product, the user experience. And second is for users, personal experience focus on what matters to users. So that means it will be helpful for them. So less customer support, ease of use and time saving, customer satisfaction, and at the end, but not the least, business, cost reduction, revenue, loyalty, scores, and profitability. So I hope it helps. And finally, we need digital products that not only succeed in the market, which is great, but also leave a lasting impact on the lives of our users. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Denise. Um, I think that it is very interesting the point of view that you share with us about the importance to implement the user experience since the beginning. You know, starting every process for the product design. I think it's very valuable. I definitely love the reference that you mentioned about the doctor. Now that you need to visit the doctor not only when you're sick. So this is really interesting point of view. Um, I think that maybe one question that I will ask for you is that what do you think that is the biggest challenge that you as a UX expert are facing, in the process of trying to say to the rest of the stakeholders, hey, implement UX since the beginning, please, we are here. What do you consider it could be the biggest challenge in that process?
Um, that's a tricky question. I think the biggest challenge is not um, like in our hands. It's like, where is the industry now, right? Post pandemic was, it's a roller coaster still, right? It changes a lot. So that's why that context impacts also our work. But it was at the beginning a UX hype, and then they reduce costs, and the first thing they reduce is UX. So uh, it's like very challenging to let them know, like, it's important, like
Yeah.
it's important, but not only for users, it's also important for business, right? So I think we all are struggling with that in the industry, I think. And another thing that I will say is to have that insight that it's not only a UX designer work. It's
Hmm.
not that the UX designer can do everything, but can manage and work and collaborate with other teams to have everything ready and everything in a strategy, with product strategy, and make things happen for users. So I will say that's the ideal scenario. That's why I wanted to talk about this.
No, really interesting because I mean the data is there, right? I mean, you share with us very interesting percentages about how it is confirmed that the user experience is impacting directly to the business results. So it is that's why my question, because for me it's like, hey, we have the data here, no, you can watch it. So what's the
True.
problem
and
to
and
implement it?
just I want to add that it's not that no one knows that, but it's still a problem. So we also have our clients and or partnerships where we know how to stay in the process and be involved in all through the stages, as the use case, as the case study that I just showed you. That's why we know it's beneficial for both of us, right?
Yeah, no, totally agree, Denise. Well, I have nothing more to say. Just to thank you so much for your time. I think that it will be a really helpful and really relevant information for, especially for those who are starting, for example, to thinking about a product. No, the starting the road for that process. I think that this information is really mandatory to hear, because probably you should need a UX since the beginning of the process of your product after this session. Denise, thank you so much for your time. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Please, to the audience, leave the comments, questions. We will be so glad to read about you. Denise will be reading all these comments, and I'm sure that she will be ready to answer everything or anything
Absolutely.
related to their points. Thank you so much, Denise. It was a pleasure to have you here. Please keep in touch with the following sessions. People, remember that you need to get back to the official website to watch the full agenda. And this is all for my side. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you all. Bye.